Hey there, folks. I'm all unfocused. Sorry. But that welcome installs Galaxy of Heroes day by day. Thanks for being here as I move my mic a little bit closer so you can hear me a little bit easier. What's going on, guys? Just watching a little bullseye boys versus girls, 100 Disney trivia questions. It's a little, it's something to do at 11 o'clock at night. Um, it's just another day. I mean, I said earlier that yesterday was a very horrible day. Today was not. Today was much more manageable, even though it was just better altogether. Didn't set quite as much. I made a decision. Not on this account though. I'm not doing it on this account, but I made a decision for another account, and I'm like, that's not an account. I did a video earlier today about the channel update for what's going to be happening after I get back from my little vacation, which I'm on right now as you're watching this video. But when we get back, we're going to change some stuff up, and I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully you enjoy it. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to manage to keep doing what I want to be doing, but we're going to try. Because as I talk about in that video, a lot of stuff happening. A lot of things that can't be predicted. And that's usually why I just go ahead and create some space for myself when I do, I would love to be able to do day and date videos, but I mean, you guys live lives, right? I mean, I'm assuming so. But, I do have a little bit of time at night, like tonight. But I also have other stuff that needs to be done for tomorrow. And this is basically the only time that I really get is on the days when I go to the gig, normally I'm there right now, but the other days, I have, the time between when my children are in bed and the missus goes to bed and when I go to bed, which is because of the gig that I do a couple of days a week, it is usually about 1:30, 2 o'clock, but a lot of times I'm just so zonked that I just want to relax, blow off some steam, and I'm not really loving the idea of rendering a bunch of videos. I mean, there's times when I'll set one up to render and I'll go play stuff, and then I'll be like, well, I could have rendered about 14 more, but I only rendered this one because I totally forgot. Like, I think I set one up to start rendering, and it's like, if I don't go check on it, like, yeah, we just loaded in, and I gotta click on this and do this and do this, and now we're at the next step of rendering that video. But if you don't keep on it, it's just something that falls out of your mind. And so usually I like to be able to sit down and do like a bunch in a row, but and just keep the momentum going. And usually I can get, if I really set my mind to it, I can get 6 or 8 done in a day. But, sometimes, I've missed a day because I didn't have anything uploaded. I didn't have anything ready to go because life just does that to you. Life just sometimes it just zaps everything you have. And it makes you so basically the last thing you want to do is anything that resembles work. And, just with, I've talked about the stress that we've been under over the past 3 months. And it's just been, we're taking steps to, come out of that. But that's not anything that's going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over the period of, it's going to happen over the period of a couple weeks. We're about to go, when we're watching this, when we get back from the period when you're watching this video, hopefully things will settle down. Hopefully we'll be in a better place. Hopefully we'll be able to move forward. Hopefully be able to get some perspective and some, because I don't know if you've ever heard this, but change of pace, meaning changing the way your life is going. So if you're super busy, if you just change that, and then you go somewhere new. So the saying is change of place plus change of pace. So change of place plus change of pace. And I said change of pace first, but so it's either change of place or change of pace, but change of pace plus change of place equals change of perspective. That means getting away and being intentional about slowing down, being intentional about just relaxing, not getting overwhelmed, because a lot of times we live in this world that I don't think a lot of people understand, that it didn't used to be like this, and now the world is. We live in this world where it's like, if you're in a position where you have responsibility, you can never get away from that responsibility. Why? Because somebody always has your cell phone number, and you can't get away. My boss at a place that I work, whenever she goes on vacation, and she goes way more than I do, because she's at a different point in her life. Roughly about the same age, but just circumstances. She's on the opposite end of the children in the house than I am, just because of the circumstances, even though we're basically the same age. And she just has had a very cushy job for however many years, and she's able to go on vacation more than I am. But anyway, anytime she goes on vacation, she always leaves the contact card of whoever her lieutenant is, and usually this person is not somebody that I would have normal contact with, but for the time when she's on vacation, she's able to fill in, and so she's able to turn off. But that doesn't happen for a lot of people. A lot of people, even if they go on vacation, they, if something goes on, they have to answer the call. And it's like, you really don't. I think we've even been on vacation when my wife has gotten an email or a call, and she's like, "Oh, I'm on vacation," and I'm like, Oh, I'm sorry, even though she will set up her work email and her whatever at her office to be like, I'm on vacation, sometimes it doesn't stop. But I kind of wish we could go back to the time when, without, or we couldn't just text people, or we couldn't just call people all the time, where there was, where there was an email. And that's very appealing to me of when you're gone, you're gone. There's no way to be tracked. And I think you know, I wish it was something that could be doable, but I just feel like we don't want to go back. Or if we wanted to go back, we just never could because we're so far in the other direction. And that makes me sad. Because having time to get away and disconnect and clear your head. There's a lot of channels out there who, I mean, I think I've told you about, some of these videos of what Kira Nate and aiming them back. And you would think that professional travelers would have a lot of time to de-stress. But because they're always, I don't think that they have the ability to, because they bring their camera with them. And even though they're wherever, they're always shooting, they're always coming up with ideas for shots and shooting videos of them enjoying whatever. And so even though they're on these journeys, they're never actually changing the pace of what they're doing. And so, like with this couple that I watched called Kira and Nate, they've like 2 years ago they did a life update where they're like, hey, we're gonna take a step, we're gonna slow down a little bit, we're not gonna do as many videos. And this year they've chosen to cut that back even more. Just because they're trying to intentionally slow down, but they're still but I think they're still doing their same life spiel where they're moving from place to place and recording. They're just choosing not to put out videos as much as they were. And I know that you're super intrigued as I'm talking about this, as I'm doing Conquest. And I know somebody will probably, it's because I keep my teams low. That's why I'm doing this, by the way, in case you're wondering. But when I go on vacation, we're really gonna, the plan is for me right now is to slow down, to look at the ocean, to breathe, to maybe explain some stuff to my children that I haven't had time to just because of the pace of our life, to be more intentional with how I do things, to set up the future and to think about the future. Because if you're not intentional about that stuff, if you're not intentional about slowing down, if you're not intentional about living in the moment, then there's a high likelihood that you're just going to get run over. And I don't want that to happen because they're at a very, they've learned to ride their bikes today without training wheels. We took the training wheels off a couple of days ago. And then we went outside and they figured out how to ride their bikes without training wheels. And it's like, and that's good. I'm happy for them. And I'm trying to get them to focus on just slowing down. Just focus on, you don't have to rush through life. And that's why, that's why I'm not a big day and date person when it comes to shooting videos, just because there's more to life than whatever. And I like to be able to, kick back, watch a ball game if I want to, just not think about whatever. And, but I'm going to try the day and date thing. I don't know that it's going to work. I'm going to try to do the best I can, and we'll see. But please know that I'm actually going to tentatively try this instead of intentionally just putting in blocks like I do when I get back. But anyway, we'll see what that looks like. We didn't get a whole lot done. Not surprised. We're going to keep grinding away a little bit at a time. I didn't actually do the refreshes, which I totally forgot about. This is what happens when I don't pay attention sometimes. So we need to go pull some more stuff real quick. Maybe we get a little bit closer. Let's do that before we go real quick. I don't want to shortchange people when I was like, oh yeah. But this is what happens. Anyway, let's go in here and do this real quick, and then we'll move on. Is there any way? Oh, we can buy this. Yes. Oh, this one. Yes. Yeah, do that. Any of these 50s we can help go by faster? Yes, please. I don't want to be here saving. I don't want to be here farming everything until the cows come home. We want to try. We're trying to get done with these characters. Whether that happens or not, don't know. But that helped us out a little bit anyway. So I'm just going to go farm some more Kairos, and that's it. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here. If you have any questions, comments, concerns you want to do, as always, I appreciate all of you. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. If hold the line. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, our bonds are built on hope. Bye.